Okay, so I know people hate Will Smith, but his book has definitely changed how I'm thinking about my next step. And so I need to tell you about this one quote, which is, okay, so he was telling a story about this man, and he's trying to cross this really dangerous jungle, like this really difficult forest. For some reason, his life depends on it. Like, he needs to make it through. And he reaches this like rapid river that looks like it's going to kill him. And he's convinced that he can't really cross this river. Like, he's pretty sure he's going to die, and he doesn't know what to do. And so he finds some wood and he constructs a raft. He's like, maybe this will take me across. Maybe this will be like the solution to my problem. And he crosses the river just fine. And he's like, oh my God, the hardest part is done. I need to keep this raft. Like, it's saved me from literal death from this river. And so he keeps walking through the forest, and he's noticing that as he's walking, his raft is like catching on trees and branches are hitting it, and the weight of it is just like dragging him back. And he realizes that to be able to move forward and to be able to get to the edge of this forest, to make it through, he might have to leave that raft behind that had saved him yesterday. And I kind of realized that that raft is my 9-to-5 job. Like, that is what's holding me back from making it through this forest, right? Which is me chasing my dreams towards like a life I want to live.
Yes.
A happy life that is like, I'm producing things that I care about. And that question is, am I okay with leaving that raft behind, knowing that that was my lifesaver just yesterday and that it could help me again should I need to cross another river? Or should I trust the fact that I can make it through this forest, I can create a new solution for whatever new problem comes up, and leaving the raft behind will actually help me. The thing that saved me might actually be holding me back today. And I'm like, oh my God, I think that I need to change my mentality as a millennial towards, thinking that, oh, I need to chase stability first. I need to chase money first.
Sometimes we need to chase our dreams. Most people, we get lost in the sauce of life. We go to work, we come home, we go to work again, we come home. We don't really have much time to ourselves. The time that we do have, the free time, is used to run errands, do things around the house. We're always just continuously working. So when do we actually have times to, chase our dreams?
Yeah. And I feel like these days, like, it's almost like there's more tools for you to be able to chase your dreams than before, because I feel like when we were growing up, you did kind of have to get a college education.
Yes.
I feel like, and then now these days, I don't think kids are, I don't know if they're even going to college at the same rate.
And also there's different options for them. Like, for us, it was really just college. No one taught us. We didn't even have all this social media, creator stuff, all these different avenues to be somebody. We always were taught, just go to college. You're going to go to college, you're going to get a degree. As soon as you get a degree, you're going to get a job. And for a lot of us, it didn't even work out that way too. So just seeing how they tell you what can happen and seeing it in real life, it's like night and day. So, I think for people, we need to chase our dreams, chase our passions. What are the things that make you feel good? What are the things that make you want to wake up in the morning and say, yes, I want to do this. This is what I love to do. For some people, it could be that 9-to-5. Some people do find passion in their 9-to-5, and that's okay. But for the others of us out there that have that thing inside where it's just like, hey, knock, knock, hey.
It's like something's
knock, knock.
wrong. Something's a little bit off.
Your body's just telling you that something's missing, and you're just searching to be complete. And it's because that's our body saying, hey, this is not what you need to be doing. You need to be doing something else. But what is that something else?
I know. I think that's why it is so easy to like rely on the golden chains, right?
Yes.
Like that crutch.
I got my job.
Right. And in America, it's like the job gives you benefits. Like you were mentioning kind of how you were even thinking about like, you know, maybe pursuing the army? I don't
The
remember.
military.
The military because
Air
of
Force.
the
benefits.
options.
Yes.
And it's so easy to be blinded by all of these like glorious options and forget the path that you actually want to be on might be behind you or over there, and you're looking over here.
Yeah.
And you're wondering why you feel so lost as you walk this other path. And it's because you've left behind the path that you need to be on, that you should be on, that you're like, that's calling you.
Yes. And then a lot of us ignore those calls. It'll be right in our face, like, you know, you should be doing that, right? Your body's tugging towards it too, but you're like, no. And a lot of us are just so scared because it's a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice. In order to do the thing that you love, you have to sacrifice. That might be sacrificing your time. It might mean sacrificing not having a job because you're going to be pursuing something else. It might mean sacrificing something really important. It might be sacrificing a relationship. Would you end a relationship to pursue your passions if your relationship didn't align with your next step? So many things that keep us in our comfort zone, we don't want to let go of it. Because like that raft, if we let go of it, we're scared of what's next. I'm holding on to the raft because I'm, like you said, I might need it again. But I'll find a new solution for my next problem. And holding on to the raft is going to hold you back because you need to let it go and focus on moving forward. Whatever comes, you'll be able to knock that out, no problem. We just need to trust ourselves and those play the cards that you're dealt, not the ones that you think you have.
Another amazing quote from Will Smith's book, right? I didn't realize for how much of my life I was playing cards that I wish I had. I'd just look around at people and be like, oh, well, they got there because they had that uncle that could get them connected. Oh, you know, she just naturally has that talent. Like, yeah, maybe she did. But she also probably worked really hard to become like that CEO of her own company that's making millions of dollars. Like, and it's so easy to just keep wishing that you had that ace, that you had that like Queen of Hearts, whatever it is. And it's so hard to look at your own hand and be like, this is what I have. How can I make gold from lead? Like, how can I turn this into money? How can I use the skills that I have and help others and profit off of it? Because we do need money to survive. It's like, that's, at the end of the day.
That's a no-brainer.
For me, in 2024, I'm like, that's my goal. I'm pursuing things where I know that I can monetize off of it.
Yes.
Because for so long, I've just been like in my corner, not sharing my thoughts and my voice. I'm talking to myself. I'm making art for myself. That's never going to make me money. And it's actually never going to help anybody. It's not going to like inspire anybody. So I think that's the hardest part is like realizing like to be your authentic self, you might need to do things that are against the grain, that maybe it doesn't look
fabulous,
comfy and right?
Yes, because it
doesn't look amazing.
Because when we see like the celebrities and all these people doing well, we're like, oh my gosh, they just had it so easy, but we don't even know what trials and tribulations these people had that led them here. You know, so many no's, a lot of no's. And what is it? A lot of people we can't take no's. If we hear no.
I think kids are used to rejection and adults are afraid of rejection.
Yes.
I don't know what happens as we grow up. I think that you just get judged so much and we become so sensitive that it's like, I'm only going to do what I know how to do and what I'm good at.
Yeah.
But the reality is, to succeed, you're going to have to do things that are new to you, that you're not good at. Because to rise above all of that, like clutter, all of the other people, like you have to be different. You have to do something new.
Yes,
you have
you
to
have
be
to stand
original,
out.
right? why does originality pay so much? Like, it's not a job, but like all of the main creators and actors, like they brought an original flair that hadn't been done before.
Literally.
That's why they stand out.
That's why they stand out. That's why they're able to move mountains, because they were able to say, okay, this is what I have in front of me. What can I do with that?
Yeah.
A lot of us are living on wishes and hopes, and that won't get us anywhere. Wishes and hopes are, I read a quote a long time ago. I can't really remember it off the top of my head, but it goes something like, if you continue to wish and fantasize and dream about the life that you have, you'll never get there. But if you take the steps to start living the life that you want, you'll eventually get there. A lot of us have this dream in our minds, like me, I'm like, oh, am I a millionaire today? Obviously I'm not. Because I didn't do anything to become a millionaire. But so many of us are just waiting for it to like drop in our lap. And it doesn't happen like that.
You gotta follow the lightning to get struck.
Literally, right?
You can't just sit around and be like, I hope I'm lucky.
Please, no. You have to go after it. Like your life depends on it.
Yeah. And I actually started to realize how big of a difference it makes just to start thinking about what you have, like putting on almost like blinders and blocking out all that like negative energy, negative thought around, oh, like she has this, I want this. And when I like looked at the cards in my hand, I was like, okay, I have a 9 to 5 job. I may not like it, but I have it. And I have, support system. Like I can go to people and they can give me ideas. And I have some knowledge in maybe Python or software engineering. And I have the desire to share it. Okay, like maybe those combined, maybe I can somehow like go and practice my public speaking through like technical conferences. I don't want to give technical talks, but I looked at my card and or the cards in my hand, and I was like, well, this is what I have. Maybe I can develop a skill that I want using what I have today. And I did 5 talks in this last year. I had never been up on stage before. I was terrified of it, and I spoke to like audiences of like 100 people.
That's
big. That's big for somebody who's never done it before. And I realized like it's not that hard once you do it, but doing the first time is like
first one
scary.
is so scary.
And now I'm like, I can talk to anyone about anything. I'm like, I want to go to conferences about stuff that I'm not even aware of right now. Maybe I can go to a film conference one day and talk about how to get started in film. Like, I'm like, I can do anything, because so few people are willing to even get up there in the first place. That's a big thing. So few people are willing to do that.
It's funny you mentioned that, because I just randomly started, not randomly, but I'm going to the gym and, trying to get into fitness.
What?
And I went to the pull-up bar. I can't do any pull-ups to save my life. But I was trying, and the guy at the gym, he was like, okay, jump onto the bar and just lower yourself down slowly and just keep doing that. And over time, you're going to build up those muscles to be able to actually do a pull-up.
Really?
Mm-hmm. But
so you just like jump up,
so you jump
and then
up,
you'd like,
and then you slowly,
like you just like let yourself down.
Yeah,
you're not even pulling yourself up.
You're letting yourself down. So that's working like the muscles back here. But he showed it to me that way to teach me that I'll eventually be able to do a pull-up. But I guess the whole point of the story is, if you never take the first step, how can you ever be good at anything? You have to take the first step and try it to at least say, this is something I can do. I can't do a pull-up, but just being able to lower myself down over time, I'm going to build that confidence and build that strength to be able to pull myself up. But if I didn't start small, I wouldn't end up being able to do a pull-up.
So can you do a pull-up now?
I can do one. I can do one solid pull-up, but that's as far as I can go.
No, I can't even do a push-up. Like, even when it's just the ground in me. It's not even when I'm not fighting gravity. I can't even push myself up.
It's rough.
Dude. no upper body strength.
But those are things that we can build over time.
But
and
you
that
still
we
have the
strengthen.
arms, right?
You
Like
see,
you can still.
and that's what we're saying to everybody out there, that all you need to do is just take that step. Take the first step. Take the first step. Realize what your passions are. What are the things that you love to do? Can you make a living from it? That's the first question. Can you make a living from it?
I would. So you know what? I would actually almost say forget about that question, in my opinion. So only because I spent so much of my 20s asking, can I make a living from it, thinking the answer was no. And I've recently learned you can make a living from anything.
Literally.
People are willing to buy anything, which means that you can sell anything.
Yes.
I never thought that way,
Think
though.
about it like that either.
I never thought that I can make a living. Like, I shouldn't ask myself, will I be able to support myself? Because like a living is like supporting yourself. And now I'm realizing, if you worry about that first, you might be from the get-go preventing yourself from some of the things that you actually want.
That's
I
true.
never answered what I wanted because I only answered what would make me a living.
Ah,
That was that. So that's what
that's the
happened
major
to me.
key. Okay, I like that. I like that, because if you keep thinking about the monetary part of it, that also takes. Most people can be like, no, I don't think I can. Oh, I don't think I can talk in front of so many people. Oh, I don't think people will want to
It doesn't
buy
pay.
my. It doesn't pay well. That's not true. Whatever you want to do will pay.
Right. And
Pay. Speak your price.
right. And it's easy to say that once you've had some money, right? Like I have been broke twice. So I know how difficult it is when you don't have enough money and you're like, I can't go after my dreams. But I also feel like, diamonds are made under pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Like, you can realize how much you can do with your time when you realize how little time you have to squander.
Yes, and how valuable your time is.
So you can still chase your dreams. Maybe you work a side job for a little bit. If you do not have the means to support yourself, because whenever you start off with a business, you start off with, maybe you're growing a YouTube channel,
Yeah.
it's $0 day one.
Zero.
But the difference is, like with a 9-to-5 job, that income growth is pretty stagnant. Like maybe you go up a little.
Your little 2% raise.
Yeah. You start at zero when you work for yourself. And it's like exponential as you like hone your craft and your brand and create valuable resources for other people, because people know value when they see it. They know,
Yes.
like, oh, this is worth the time for me, or this is worth the money.
Yes.
So like, I think that sweet spot of just like, okay, maybe you're working contracting gigs, maybe you're selling things you don't want to sell, but you know how to sell. You're selling, like, for example, I have Python skills. I don't have like acting, filmmaking skills, but I have Python skills. Okay, maybe I talk about that, try to sell that first.
Yeah.
Right? You can sell it faster because you know it.
Yes. And then also that'll lead you into your next thing, because it's going to put you on your path. It's just about getting on the path. And that's what we were talking about. Once you find your way there, you can slowly just take your time and do what you need to do to get to where you want to be. But if you're too far off your path and you're already halfway down another, that's really hard to come back from. That's like almost having to start over again. And some people don't want to do that. They're like, it's too late for me. You know how many people I've talked to?
It is never, ever,
late.
too late. It is never too late.
It's never too late.
It's never too late.
You're never too old. You're never too late. It's never too anything. Because a lot of us were like, I got to start over. And I've been having some conversations, and I noticed that for people, it's the starting over. Even like with relationships. They're like, I got to start over. What's wrong with starting over? I think starting over has so many negative attributes to it, because it makes it seem like something failed. When you start over, it's something failed, but that's not true. That door just closed, or that time in your life is done. You can mark it with that closed door or whatever happened, and you move on. There's no such thing as starting over. You can't start over your life. You continue on to your next path, to your next door, to your next chapter. So when people are thinking about, oh God, I have to start all over again, even for you, Christian, you went from finance and did a whole career transition twice. Like, that's not something that is easy to do. Like, you have literally two professions that you're really good at. And you didn't start over. You just started a new chapter. And there's something really beautiful about starting something new.
I think when you phrase it like that, like it seems so much less daunting too, right? Right? People do think like, oh man, I'm starting from ground zero. It's like, you're not. You started from ground zero when you were born. You're not going back to ground zero. No matter, even if you feel like rock bottom, right? Like, you're never hitting like fresh, new into the world, no clue what anything is, kind of rock bottom, like ground zero. So I think that like starting a new chapter is a better way to, I wish that was like the phrase, you know, like, but rather than, oh, I have to start over again. It's like, I agree with you. You know, like in card games, like have you ever played like Spoon or something? Like any card game where you have to like trade cards just to make the perfect hand, like
yes.
Rummy is like that. You know, it's like there's always a few cards that stay in your hand, even as you pass the other cards along to make whatever hand you need to win the game.
Yes.
There's always a few cards that stay. That's because, like, you don't start with a fresh hand to get the perfect hand.
No.
There was something in your original hand that was worth building off of. And in that same way, every time maybe you're going for a new job, maybe you're moving to a new city, maybe you're making an entirely new friend group at the age of 30 and it feels like I'm starting over. It's like, no, actually, you still have some things that you can keep from your past career, past whatever, and bring over. That's what I did with every career transition I ever did. Like in finance, I was like, okay, I know how to analyze things. I can use that in machine learning. That's analyzing data instead of like analyzing financial statements. I know how to do that.
Yes.
Machine learning, I was like, okay, I know how to analyze data and maybe code some stuff. Okay, if I can code 2 lines, I can probably code 2,000 lines. I can be a software engineer.
Okay.
If I can be a software engineer, if I can talk to the computer, if I know how to debug things, I can talk to humans. Like,
okay,
I can go tell humans what I think are different ideas, new concepts, if I can go instill those new ideas and concepts into a computer program. Like, it's not hard.
Okay. It's your mindset. And look how you were able to compartmentalize that. You took each one of those skills, and all of us have transferable skills. Every single one of us. Even people who only worked in the fast food industry their whole entire life. That's a person with some true transferable skills. They don't think so, but they do. Customer service, the ability to pivot
How to talk to people.
Like,
you know what people want.
Okay, to be able to de-escalate a situation. Though people are not even thinking that those are skills, but being able to calm people down. Now that so just taking your transferable skills or the skills that you had from the past and saying, okay, I'm going to use these things to do what I want to do.
Yeah.
And that's it. Just staying true to yourself also, and not really taking too much stock in what other people think about your life. I think that's the number one thing.
That's another thing. Like,
a lot of people,
rather than thinking about like how will this look to other people.
Yes.
And honestly, I did that for so much of my life. I was like, oh, I want to move to New York because it'll look cool. Like, I will feel really, like, I'll get all the opportunities there. But I just think that I need to be there because that's where all the cool people are. It's like, no wonder I didn't make it long, That wasn't even the right reason to go.
Right.
In the first place. Or being like, oh, I should take a job in AI because it's going to look cool. Like, my mom and dad are going to be so proud of me. Okay, cool, I made that money. And got nothing from it. Like, no happiness. I feel like the skills that I got from it were only things that I decided to invest in, not my job investing in me.
Right.
And
it's
just crazy?
Yes.
Like, it's crazy.
It's so crazy how everything ends up just the path, how life just ends up happening. How one thing would lead to another and lead to another, and then you'll be like, how did I get here? And then you're like, wow, full circle. Wow, full circle. Because
why have I been running around and I'm making no progress?
yes. Oh, because you shouldn't have been doing that anyway. And also, you know, you knew from the jump what it was that you wanted to do and taking the steps to get there. Like even if, like you said, I start out doing something that I don't like too much. We talked about it. It's the sacrifice. You're gonna sacrifice this in this moment to get to the thing that you want the most.
That's true.
We just need to sacrifice more, listen to people less, listen to ourselves, because people pleasing is a thing.
Especially parent pleasing.
It's and I think we can say that we have similar cultures where our parents really invest so much in us. They're like, I'm gonna make sure I send you to college. You want to make them proud, and you feel like, okay, getting that career, being that doctor, being that engineer, being a communications person that's gonna take you where you want to go, and it's gonna make your parents proud. But then deep down inside, it's like, no, that's not really what I want to do. I know that's what will make me look good and what everybody will be like, oh, you're so amazing. You're this. And it's like, oh, but I don't feel any passion or life in that. Sometimes we have to go against the people that we love and let them know that this is our life, and I'm gonna ride with it. I just need your support. And even if you don't get their support, you got to keep going. You just got to keep going. Because in the end, when you are that successful person,
everybody will support
everybody's
you.
Going to be like, oh my God.
It'll be easy to support you then.
Yes.
It's actually really hard to support somebody as they're going through the rough of it.
Yes. And it's hard to see somebody else's vision. You have to trust them.
That's so true, because they're not looking through your eyes. That's so true.
You can tell somebody your vision night and day. You can give them your plan, and they'll still be like, they can never see it.
Nobody ever cares as much about an initiative as the person who started it.
Literally.
That's why things like founder led, that's why the CEOs are the people who care the most about their company.
Yes.
If you don't care about you, if you don't care about your brand, your voice, your dream, nobody else is going to come up to you and be like, hey, you have a dream and I have this golden opportunity for you. Here's the ticket. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's looking out for it. It's not in a bad way, but it's just people are people.
Yep. And you have to, closed mouths don't get fed. If you don't ask for what you want, you won't get it. That's what we were talking about, the sitting around waiting for the opportunity to fall in your lap.
Yeah.
Hey, it doesn't happen. You have to chase it. You got to go after it.
I know. So, are we chasing?
We're definitely chasing. We're chasing all 2024.
2024. We're
chasing. Cheers.
Cheers.
This is so good.
Honestly, it's not bad at all.
No, this is so bomb.
Honestly.